Welcome back to the Intuitive Mindset with Jeannie Lynch. This is a special compilation of everything intuitive, created especially with you in mind. If you're like me, you've been watching a lot more YouTube on TV. Setting you up today to binge watch. What kind of a healer are you? Parts 1 and 2. The Clairs of Intuition. What kind of an intuitive you are. And also uncover how to trust that beautiful intuition. That whole compilation is coming up next. One place for you to grow. Grab your popcorn, grab your journal, and maybe even a pen, and get ready to explore. Welcome back to my channel. This is Jeannie Lynch, and I'm continuing the beautiful work of teaching intuition and spiritual modalities, two beautiful playlists on my channel. And as you know, I'm a seeker and a teacher. I truly do love to bring these different aspects of consciousness and awareness to making spirituality accessible to everyone. So today, we're diving into this word, healer. What does it mean to be a healer? Are you a healer? Can anyone be a healer? Where do you have to go to get a healing, right? And how many different types of healing modalities are out there? If you've been watching my channel for the last couple years, I have immersed myself into focusing on all different aspects. Check out that playlist. You'll find plenty. But today, we're diving in it for you. And what does that mean? You're actually going to take a little test with me, and you're going to uncover, we're all healers, by the way. We are all healers. We can all heal ourselves. So today, you're going to learn what does that mean and what type of a healer you are. If that interests you, stay watching. That fun video is coming up next. Hey, Jeannie Lynch, thank you so much for staying clicked in. I'm really happy to continue the beautiful work of teaching intuition and looking at different spiritual modalities. And today we're just looking at the word healer, healing. You know, how do you get to deem yourself a healer? I call myself an energy healer, and I have for the past 15 years. And yet I'm not certified to touch you with Reiki. That's not the way I heal. I actually call myself a healer through healing through communication. So even that is a form of healing. So using my words. So why don't you for a second think of different modalities that you've experienced. Let me know below. When I was researching to do this video, I was trying to figure out just how many healing modalities are out there. I'm going to put up a slide and I'm just going to list some. We don't have all day, but I just want to give you a sense of just how many modalities are out there. And that way too, you can also look into or connect with some of these. So let me share some of the words. Let's put up a beautiful slide. And again, I'm only going to list some. Quantum touch, EFT tapping, Reiki, healing touch, Ayurveda, chakra healing, breath work, chiropractic, biofeedback, aura healing, aromatherapy, massage, angel healing, hypnosis, cranial sacral, crystal healing, therapy, color therapy, distant, divine healing, self-healing, and sound healing. Okay, come back to me now. I could go on and on and on. We're going to make this a quick video. The point is there are so many different ways to heal out there. Meditation is a form of healing. It's self-reflection, right? We all have the ability to heal and heal ourselves and to heal others. I love this. So today we're going to dive into what does that mean for you, and you're also going to uncover what type of a healer you are. About a year and a half ago, I did a little series where you got to uncover your will, you got to uncover if you were intuitive, and then you even took a little test to find out what type of an intuitive you are. Well, we're going to go back into that work and we're going to look at healing today, and you're going to uncover what type of a healer you are. So you will need a little piece of paper and a pen, because you're just going to have to write yes and the numbers that I'm about to read. We're going to explore more of this idea of us being able to heal ourselves and explain what each of them is at the end of this video. So much fun. Are you ready to uncover if you're a healer? Okay, let's do it. That test is coming up next. I'm so excited that you've hung around to take this test. Before we do this, we're just going to do a little visualization to get you a little grounded, a little connected to source, so that you can absolutely answer these questions straight from your heart. Okay, to get you grounded, let's take a beautiful 3 deep breaths. You can close your eyes to do this, or you can stay watching through the visualization. I'm just going to activate your own healing within you with your hands, okay? So please, 3 deep breaths, and let's do this together. In through your nose, out through your mouth. 2 more. One more. In through your nose. Okay, relax. Sit in this relaxed position. I would like you to place both your hands on your solar plexus. This is your 3rd chakra, the center, right underneath your breastbone. Both hands. Sit quietly and continue to breathe. With your eyes closed, just focus on your entire awareness, just onto your hands. And when you do this, you will notice they will gradually just become warmer. They're picking up energy from your own energy force, your own prana, that's stored in your solar plexus. Notice that now. Couple more breaths. Now I want you to remove your hands from your solar plexus, and I want you to take your fingers and bring them up to your forehead and lightly touch your forehead. This will make them tingle and feel alive with energy. You're connecting. Let the streams of that prana energy flow into your hands now. Notice the vivid sensation this should cause. Keep your fingers there until the tingling stops. Now move your fingers away, and I want you to shake your hands vigorously for a few moments. Just shake out your hands. Shake them, shake them, shake them. Good job. Shake them. A little more. We're almost done. Okay, now return the same hands to your solar plexus. Open up your eyes and come back to me. Okay, so basically you just activated your own internal prana from the solar, where all the power of your soul is stored, okay, right up to your head and then back into your solar. So we're connecting, and that's what we're doing when we're healing. So now that I've got you grounded, I'm going to get ready to ask those beautiful questions. I'm going to put up 3 slides, 12 questions, yes or no. Grab your little piece of paper and pen. Let's dive in and uncover what type of healer you are. Enjoy. Are you ready? Okay, slides up. The first 4 questions. Question 1, are you a good listener? Yes or no? Question 2, do you make others feel at ease? Is that a goal for you? Do you make others feel at ease? Number 3, can you feel a connection with earth and nature? Do you feel a connection with earth and nature? And last number on this slide, number 4, do people confide in you? Are you the keeper of their secrets? Number 4, yes or no. Moving on. Question 5. Do you have the ability to just shake off a headache? Yes or no. Number 6. Do you want to make the world a better place? Is this a goal you have? Do you want to make the world a better place? Number 6. Yes or no. Number 7. Have you ever felt the presence of an angelic or a healing guide? Number 7. Yes or no. Number 8. Do you feel like you have an intuitive link to animals? Yes or no. Number 9. Next slide. Do you often feel completely at one with the world? Yes or no. And number 10. Do you feel other people's pain? Do you feel other people's pain? Yes or no. Number 11. After you visited or phoned a friend, do your friends tell you they felt better? And the last question, number 12. Could you decide not to be unwell? Okay, come back to me now. So yes or no, take a second, whether you have to go back or not. Hopefully I did that slow enough for you. You're just adding up your yeses, okay? So I'm going to put up one more slide. We're going to go through what that means, and then we're going to just kind of break it down a little bit, and you'll be on with your day, and you'll know what type of healer you are, okay? Are you ready? Let's do this. If you answered yes to questions 1, 2, and 4, you are empathic. If you answered yes to number 3, 8, and 10, you are shamanistic. If you answered yes to 5, 11, and 12, your gift is psychic healing. And if you answered 6, 7, and 9, you have spiritual healing ability. Okay. So you've just uncovered today, we just mentioned that there's so many different types of healings out there. And today, for the sake of just having it make sense, we categorized it into 4. So we've told you you're either empathic, shamanistic, psychic healing, or spiritual healing. So I'm going to share 4 continual slides that will list and describe each one. I'll play some nice beautiful music for you to read which one you are, and then we'll wrap up this video. Thank you again. I so love exploring and teaching and seeking and helping you expand your own consciousness. So let me know below which one you are, and again, the definition of those 4 is coming up next. An empathic healer. Empaths have the ability to scan another person's psyche for thoughts and feelings, or for the past, present, and future life occurrences. Many empaths are unaware of how this actually works and have long accepted the fact that they're just sensitive to other people's feelings. A shamanistic healer is a kind of medicine, and it's practiced by indigenous people for thousands of years. Shamans believe that all illness and misfortune is caused by a loss of personal power, and they believe by restoring the person's power, they can facilitate the healing. They do this through using ancient shamanic arts. The shaman works hard to bring back a full state of wellness and well-being for the person they're facilitating the healing for. Psychic healers, they often use tools that are not derived from the earthly plane, but more metaphysical sources, which can have a major impact on the natural order and the balance of a body. Most psychic healers are good at channeling a higher vibration or energy, or using metaphysical energy to transfer healing to a physical body or a mentally ill individual. And lastly, we have spiritual healers. Spiritual healers go back as far as the days of the Bible, and they've always had their support. In recent years, they've gained worldwide acceptance and popularity, right here in the States, the United Kingdom, and other countries around the world. Spiritual healers believe that their therapeutic effect results from channeling a healing energy from an assumed source from the healer to the patient. So, now your homework. You could be a couple of those, by the way. You might be all four, right? It's just to have the beautiful awareness in the conversation that we can heal. And, the first step is to uncovering that for yourself. The second step is, you can get into healing others. In fact, I charge you to do so. And then distant healing, what is that? Go back to when you were going, to church, or you see on Facebook, someone will ask for a prayer, my brother was just in an accident. Can everybody put some intentions around sending him healing light? When a group or more come together and we pray, right? What do you think we're doing? It's distant healing. When a friend asks you to, consider them, when you dedicate your yoga practice, these are all ways in which we heal. And we heal ourselves too, when we're being kind to ourselves, when we're smiling at another human being, okay? Being kind, opening doors, that's all forms of generosity and kindness. Kindness is healing. So, making my point, we absolutely are all healers. If you'd like to develop your healing, I'm going to tag a couple of videos that I hope will help. And if you have a healing modality that you would love to teach the world, Healy is a brand new one. I think you're going to hear about that on my channel coming soon. There's still healings that are being developed, especially in our new world with where we are energetically, right? If you have a healing that I didn't list in this video, will you comment below? We can start a beautiful conversation. There are thousands of ways to heal, to be healed, become a healer, and heal the world. Hopefully you agree. This is Jeannie Lynch. Thanks a lot for being part of this video. So enjoy our time together. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share for more videos like this. Happy healing. Namaste.
In that video, you took a fun test and you uncovered what type of a spiritual healer are you. And please know that I know there's absolutely more than 4 different types of healers out there. Today, we're looking at more of the archetypes, okay? We're looking at empaths, shamans, psychics, and spiritual healers. Those were the 4 we focused on in the last video, and I just want to expand or do a sequel to dive a little bit deeper into those. And also at the end of this video, I'm going to be answering the number 1 question that I got asked in the comment section, which is, oh my gosh, I answered yes to all the questions. Could I possibly be more than one? Also on this video, we're going to play with some exercises so you can play with each modality.
First up, the empath.
I am surrounded by empaths in my spiritual practice. And if you know an empath, you know them. And if you are an empath, you certainly know what it's like to be in your physical body because you feel and see everything. In fact, you'll laugh when I say this next line. Even watching the news or watching commercials can be somewhat upsetting because you seem to take on and feel just what everybody is feeling, right? That is an empath. The number 1 struggle, and again, you won't be surprised by this, that I find when I'm working with the empaths in my spiritual practice, you know where this is going? Boundaries. Most people who are empaths get into helping others heal because they've spent their whole life struggling with picking up other people's, and they thought they were the ones who need healing, and they didn't even know that all the pain that they were carrying wasn't even really theirs. It was everybody else they were coming in contact with. So I'm going to describe, if that sounds like you, stay watching, right? I'm going to describe the specifics to an empath for this video. And then I'm also going to give you a fun exercise. So here we go. Let's do it.
Key traits for an empath healer. Empath sensitivity truly is their superpower, allowing them to connect deeply and understand the unspoken needs of others. Healer empaths can intuitively understand what someone needs for a healing, whether by giving them emotional support, great guidance, or simply just holding space for their process. These empaths are accurately and acutely aware of subtle energy shifts in people and even environments, often recognizing imbalances way before others do. This ability enables them to offer targeted healing interventions, such as energy work or emotional clearing. While their empath is truly a gift, healer empaths can sometimes absorb negative energy of others, as I've stated before, leading to emotional and physical exhaustion. So, learning to set energetic boundaries is crucial for their well-being. An exercise that I'd like to share to help you stay safe is what I call bubble theory. And you truly do place a beautiful bubble of protection around you. And here's the fun part. Pick a color. It might be different from time to time as you do this exercise. Most people see white light or purple, but you might feel the need for grounding. So red might comes to mind. But simply place this bubble around you and state, "This bubble protects me while allowing me to send love and light to the people I serve." Try this often, and certainly if you're getting ready to work with somebody.
You cannot be an empath and be a healer without having this exercise. And there's many, this is just one, by the way. You can Google ways to protect myself and working with others as an empath, and you will begin in so many different exercises. This is just one. The bubble is one that I use when I'm working with people. I've also used roses in front of me. There's many different ways. Please hear this. Find one that works for you. And the other thing, another tip that I really think helps if you're an empath and you're working with people, is instead of assuming that everyone is coming to you to take from you, another good tip is to assume that the people who are coming to you are also for you. So everything you say for them will always and should be also for you. And that way, if you are picking up the energy as you're trying to set intentions and you're giving them great advice or sending them energy to help them heal, and you're the empath who's just picked it up, you will also receive that healing. In fact, put that intention in there. So those are just two tips that I think that can really help the empaths out there. And you empaths, I'm sure you all have great suggestions on what you could be doing to help others. So if you have any you would like to share, please comment below. In the meantime, let's move on to the shamans. They're an interesting healer. They're coming up next.
The beautiful shaman healer. The key traits of a shaman healer. Shamans serve as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual realms. They work with spirit guides, ancestors, and other energies to access knowledge, healing, and guidance for themselves, and certainly for others. A shaman's ability to journey in the altered states of consciousness truly is their superpower. Shamans enter a trance-like state, often through drumming, chanting, or meditation, to access non-ordinary reality. These journeys allows them to retrieve insights, perform soul retrievals, or even remove energetic blocks. A shaman healer helps others reclaim their power by addressing those imbalances in their soul or their energy body. They guide people towards self-healing and transformation by connecting them to their inner strength and purpose. They're not doing the healing, they are assisting the healing happening. I love that. Shamans view their work as a sacred responsibility to their community. They are dedicated to fostering harmony and well-being among individuals, groups, and certainly for their environment. Here's a fun exercise to develop the shaman healer within you. Simply go outside in nature, like a park or a forest, and even sit in your backyard. Sit quietly and just observe your surroundings. Pay attention to all the colors and the sounds and the sensations you see, hear, and feel. Pick up an object around you, maybe a leaf, a stone, or even a feather, and just simply hold it in your hands. Close your eyes and ask this question. What wisdom or energy does this object hold for me today? Notice the feelings, the thoughts, or even images that might arise within you. Shamans understand that many of the questions we seek from the past, the present, and certainly our future can be found in divine intelligence, which is also what we call nature.
So if you know ways to heal people that are beyond what you've ever been taught, if you just innately know when you touch something what properties it has, and you can travel through time and go back and find souls, and that type of energy just is right at the forefront of your third eye, then guess what? You are absolutely a shaman.
Psychic healers, you're up next.
Funny, years ago, I wouldn't even use the word psychic because I felt it was too connected to somebody who has a crystal ball and is predicting the future. And I used to get really upset because of this beautiful thing I know called free will. And I just had a trouble with the word. And the word has since softened in me. And I totally understand that part of the work that I do is absolutely in that realm, the psychic healer. Let me use these words to explain what a psychic healer is, and I will clarify a little bit more.
The key traits of a psychic healer. Psychic healers have heightened extrasensory perception. This is their superpower, such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and so on. These abilities allow them to identify energetic imbalances, emotional blockages, or physical ailments in others. They can perceive and work with this subtle energy, such as auras and chakras. This sensitivity enables them to cleanse, balance, and even restore their clients' energy systems. Psychic healers often experience a deep and emotional connection to the clients they serve, allowing them to truly understand the root causes of their distress. This insight can help them and offer targeted healing and compassionate guidance. They act as conduits of divine and universal energy, channeling it into others to promote physical, emotional, and mental and spiritual healing. Many psychic healers work with spirit guides or higher levels of consciousness during their sessions. Psychic healers assist others in releasing old wounds, limited beliefs, and stagnant energy, and they are often the catalyst for profound personal, transformational, and spiritual awakening. The best exercise I can offer you for psychic healers is just to play with a deck of cards. Grab your oracle deck, shuffle the deck while asking a simple question like, what do I need to know today? Draw the card and certainly look at the imagery and the words. Just spend a few minutes journaling your initial thoughts and maybe any other intuitive hits that you get while you're playing. But here's the charge. Do not cheat. Don't go back and look at what the book says or try to read more into it than you actually need to. This exercise will absolutely sharpen your intuitive muscles, and it helps you get to a point where you trust your psychic impressions.
Psychic healers, their biggest challenge is trust. Just to trust that it doesn't matter what the math is around it, that knowing is always right. Psychic healers are amazing. Let's keep going. The last one is the spiritual healer, one I know quite a bit about. Enjoy.
The key traits to a spiritual healer. These healers can empathize with others, offering unconditional love and understanding. This compassion that they have allows them to create a safe and supportive space for healing. Spiritual healers view individuals as interconnected beings. They understand the whole we are all one. They address physical symptoms and emotional and mental and spiritual dimensions to promote holistic healing. Spiritual healers absolutely rely on their intuition or their inner wisdom to identify areas of imbalance, provide insight, and guide the healing process. Many work in partnership with their spirit guides and also their own inner knowing. Spiritual healers are often on a journey of self-awareness and healing for themselves. They are continuously working to heal themselves. They believe that this journey will absolutely strengthen their own spiritual connection and refine their skills for one important reason: to be in service to others. The most important exercise I can offer you as a spiritual healer is to just sit quiet with yourself absolutely every day. Yeah, we call this meditation. Sit in a quiet place and just take a few deep breaths. Place your hands over your heart and imagine a beam of beautiful light descending from above and entering your crown chakra. Visualize this light is filling your entire body and flowing out through your hands. Send this loving energy towards someone you wish to help, or simply hold it within yourself as a gift for yourself. I truly believe that with this practice, you will feel more connected to divine energy and build the confidence you need in your healing abilities.
Okay, so we're finishing up this video today answering the very important question: can you be more than one archetype? And the absolute answer is yes. But of course, many of you who are intuitive already knew that. And the reason is, it's like, I'm an artist, but I love being an artist. There's not just one medium. An artist is an artist, right? So I can touch in oils, I can do watercolor, I love paper, 3D, videos, right? This is all the ways that I can express my sense of artistry out into the world. So just like you're a healer, everyone's a healer, right? Defining what kind of healer you are is just like this as an example. If I wanted to become a better watercolorist, I would need to do more watercolor, right? So please know that, yes, I love the fact that you today hopefully have uncovered that you can work with all of these different archetypes and that you can build and strengthen. And the most important thing I hope you heard today is you need to play and you need to work with it. Otherwise, it just sits like a box of paints in a drawer and doesn't get used, and nothing beautiful can come from that. Hopefully you heard the metaphor there. Hey, this is Jeannie. Thanks for watching, and so excited to do this sequel. And let me know what you think. Let me know what's going on in your beautiful world of healing, and let me know if I can assist you in any way. Always here to love and support you. Hey guys, we'll see you next video. Bye now. Namaste.
Today, we're just going to pull back, have a beautiful little quick conversation around the clairs and about how we receive information. And this is the number one question when people come to me. First off, they're developing their own intuition. Love that. But they're also wondering, how do they receive information? And it's funny because 99.9% of the time, I can talk to somebody and have a beautiful just conversation, and I can help that person figure it out without having to read them and really look at it. And what do I mean by that? It's in their language. So today I want you to think about your language. I'm just going to give you some mindfulness around the energy of the language that you're currently using to describe the way in which you experience life, but more importantly, experience it for other people. So let me have this make sense. If you're somebody who leads with the clair of clairvoyant, and you're someone who can see, it's clairvoyance, the ability to see beyond the range of ordinary perception. Clear seeing. This is me, by the way. I see in pictures. I see in visions. When someone asks me to remember things, I do this. Right? If I'm trying to go back to an experience, I have to close my eyes and visualize it. I don't get it from the thinking brain or the knowing brain, okay? It's literally, how does it show up and see for me? So I am very visual, and my whole life I've always been this. If you're somebody who has a really strong imagination, this is also somebody who is clairvoyant, someone who can see. So is this you? Comment below. I would love to know. If this is something that you lead with, please know that you can develop the other ones we're going to talk about today. I want to take you through just a quick story so this makes sense to you too. When I learned that I could see, when it was explained to me, I should say, I was in therapy, and my energy healer once said to me, how do you know that, Jean? Or how do you know what to say to people when they're working with you? How do you know what advice to give them? And I remember just kind of saying it such a matter of fact. It was like, well, there's a little projector going on next to your head, and I see those little, like a movie start to play, and that movie tells me the story to go back to, or the picture, or something that connects, that I know will connect to the person who's sitting for me, and that's how I get information. And of course, at the time, this person looked at me and said, "Okay, Jean," and I was amazed that not everybody had this little projector running next to their head, thinking it was my thoughts, but my thoughts were in full view. Does that make sense to you? Is this you? If it is, you know what you got to do. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Let's keep going. The next beautiful clair we have are the clairs who sense through feeling. We'll call these the empaths, or the HSPs in the room. The ability to perceive emotional or psychic energy that is not so predictable through the five senses, because we feel this. And it truly does mean you feel. So if you're somebody who uses a lot of the same language around, I felt that, or I really feel your pain, or I walked into a room and I could just tell that everything was off. If you're somebody who senses and feels, that's your lead. That's the one you lead with the most. And these are the empaths. And you empaths, if you are an empath, you know who you are. The way empaths receive information is truly to feel it. They can feel somebody even in the way in which they've passed, right? They might know that they've had a heart attack, or they're clutching their throat, or they get a stabbing pain in their head, right? That is the way information comes to them. So right now, if you're somebody who leads with feeling, if you feel, I'm not going to say emotional, but if you lead with emotions, and emotions is at the head or at the helm of how you've experienced your life, then your lead is clairsentient. Okay, let's move on. The next beautiful clair is clairaudience, and this truly is the gift of hearing, the power or the faculty of hearing something not present to the ear, but regarded as having objective reality, which basically means it's there, but we can't explain it. Let's keep going. If you're somebody who hears, you would also do this. You'd also have to get quiet. You close your eyes also, but not because you're seeing, but because you're hearing. You're going back and you're remembering what it sounded like when you were there. You're very connected to music and frequency and voices. Do voices annoy you? Like, do you watch the news like I do? And if somebody's voice is off, it's just so jarring and so annoying for you. And then, of course, the other way. music matters, right? So let's keep going. The last Claire to explore today is the person who receives their information from their knowing. It's that internal gut sense. And also those people who get these downloads. They have no idea where, but they know it to be their truth. Let's learn more. And these are the knowers. And I got to tell you, knowers, I'm sorry. And I'm only sorry because it's so much trouble when you know, right? When you know, it's a very advanced way of receiving information. And stay listening, because I'm going to explain why it's troubling also. And if you're someone who knows, you know this. The people who know use the language, I knew that. I had that gut feeling. I was told or I knew to go right, and yet I went against what I knew and I went the wrong way. And I need to pay attention to my gut more. I felt that in my bones, right? This is the knowing. When something bad happens, they can turn around really quick and go, I knew that was going to happen. Or they actually did know it was happening or going to happen. They're the ones who get to the top of the street. They just know that there's something bad that's happening down that way, but they go that way anyway, and then they kick themselves all day for not trusting that they knew better, right? So they get into the relationship they know doesn't serve them, and you know where that goes, right? So the people who know, I say it's a troubled place to be because they don't know why. If you're someone who sees, hears, or feels, and that's the way you receive information, then guess what? You were told it, you saw it, or you felt it. But if you're someone who knows, you can see where the trouble is. So you knowers, I love you. I love you. Teach us all how you know, but more importantly, just give yourself a lot of grace. And the best advice I have for you people who know is to trust your gut. It's the best indicator and the best way to receive information. Okay, another little point I want to make to the side here, a little pro note. If you're somebody who receives the information and your language is all around the energy of I think, I'm here to tell you right now, there's really not one of the Clairs that connects to the thinking. The thinking truly is the ego. So you might think you know because you saw, you heard, you felt, okay, so pay attention to that. But if you're just using the language, I think, my senses, you're fragmented and you're absolutely connected to ego. So let that go. Last little language tip. If you're someone who uses the words, a part of me thinks or a part of me feels, and you say that often, that it's also a little fragmented and most likely coming from ego instead of your senses. Okay, let's wrap up. Can you look to your own language? Are you somebody who knows, somebody who sees, somebody who feels, somebody who hears, okay? How do you think you receive information? What is your lead one below? Comment. And then the last question I want to know is, which is the one that you would like to develop more? And if I get enough people saying the same one, well, I'll do a whole video for you to love and support you. So this is me just jumping on today to share. I'm going to be doing quite a bit more teachings of the intuition. So if this is what you'd like to see more of on my channel, let me know. A little accolades go a long way for me supporting you. Okay, bye for now. See you next video. Continuing the work of what it is to be intuitive. And I love teaching. I love helping you connect to higher self. And I have, one goal in life, and it truly is that you don't need to seek counsel or ask anyone for guidance except for yourself. That we truly do have this ability to truly know our life's purpose, what we came here to do, what feels right, what our soul's intention is. Okay, so that's the work I'm really trying to help you do for yourself. Okay, so I want you to know that it's not a crystal ball. Okay, I don't have a crystal ball for guidance for you. I truly believe that you have it, and I'm not doing any type of witchcraft or, this isn't a voodoo doll. Okay, That's not the type of intuition or spells that we're talking about when we're doing this work. This is truly your ability to connect to your higher self, a version of you that is higher, vibrating form, that knows when you were standing on the other side and seeking counsel to be in this beautiful experience in this life, kind of how you came in, what you intended to do. And it's not the things we think it is, right? So that's what we're going to be diving in today when we continue the work of our intuition. Okay, so we're going to do this a little bit differently this time. I'm going to ask you a series of 20 questions. I'm going to have the numbers up in front of you. If you say yes to it, it's important to put the number next to it. Because when I break out what type of an intuitive you are, if you're a 7, 2, a 9, and a 5, that could mean one aspect, a shaman. So it is important that you know the number as I go through this list. So let's put up the beautiful slide, get ready to answer 20 questions, and all you have to do is put the number, and if you put the number down, then guess what? That means it's a yes on your sheet of paper. Are you ready? Let's get to work. Question number 1. Are you generally aware of other people's feelings? Number 2. Do you ever get a sense that you're part of the universe? Number 3. Do you often know what other people will say before they even say it? Number 4. While walking outdoors, have you ever sensed that something is watching you? Number 5. Out in the country, have you ever felt as though something did not want you there? Moving on. Number 6. Have you ever been out in a wild space and felt that place even protected you? Number 7. Do you get butterflies in your stomach when you're near someone? And number 8. Do you get the same type of feeling, that butterfly feeling, with a location? Number 9. When you walk into a place for the first time, can you truly sense its atmosphere? Number 10. Do you really know that the world could be a place of peace and love instead of starvation and wars? Number 11. Have you ever walked into a place and felt a shiver or a sense of presence? Number 12. Do you ever hear people's thoughts? Number 13. Are there people that you just don't like to physically be near? And number 14. Have you ever encountered a spirit of any kind? Number 15. Have you ever woke up and felt weight on you and known that there was nothing physically there? Number 16. Do you get a sense of wonder and love just by being alive? Number 17. Do you have vivid dreams that you feel may have really happened? Number 18. Do you look in the eyes of someone who is hurting, and can you see their pain? Number 19. At night, do you close your eyes and see eyes, faces, or human-like creatures? And then the last one, number 20. Have you ever felt your body has been on a journey without you even moving? Okay, so come back to me now. Okay, so in front of you, you have all the numbers that you wrote down yes to. So 2, 9, 6, 5, 7, 3, and 2. Are you ready? I'm going to put up a beautiful slide that is absolutely going to tell you what type of an intuitive you are. So here it is. Let's go through those now. In the assessment, if you answered yes to 1, 3, 7, 8, and 12, you, my friend, are an empath. And we're going to break these down when we're done, so let's just get on and get a sense of which one you are. If you answered 2, 10, 16, and 18, if you answered 2, 10, 16, and 18 yes, you are a channeler. Moving on. If you answered 11, 14, 15, 17, 19, and 20, you are a medium. And if you answered 4, 5, 6, 9, and 13, you are a shaman. Okay, come back to me now. So here's what's interesting. I'm sure you'll agree, you can be more than one. I'm an intuitive, I'm a medium, I'm an empath, I'm a shaman, okay? It's not like you can only be one, and that is, but it's just like when we uncover how we receive information, the one that you answered the most to, that can help you really narrow it down. So remember, all this can be developed, and that's why I'm teaching and doing these workshops, okay? Okay, now you know which one you are. Let's dive a little bit deeper today to explain and get you to touch and feel what each one is, okay? Let's start with the empath. Empathic. It really is what it sounds like. There are many of you, I work with many of you who move through life, you feel so deeply, right? So someone who is an empath is, would consider it a curse in a sense that they really do feel so connected to themselves and their own feelings, but also everyone around them. So moving into a room, going into an emotional situation, going to a funeral and picking up all the energy of people. Going into a toxic workplace could be so upsetting for someone who is empathic. So if you receive your information that way, heads up to you, the number one thing you have to be able to do is develop good boundaries and learn protection for yourself, because you can get sucked into a pretty bad place if you're not careful. So empaths are truly people who feel. Now, there's a couple different ways when you're receiving information. You can feel guilt, you can feel sorrow, you can feel pain, and you might not take it on. So it's just a sense and a feeling of that person's energy. That's also empathic, okay? So sentient, same thing. It's the sensing and feeling, okay? That's that one. Empath. Let's move on. The next one is channeling. There's so many different types of channeling. The process that I do, and for those of you who worked with me, I call it conscious channeling. I will go out in my reading, get information, come back, and give it to you. I'm always in Jeannie form when I'm here. If you've worked with me and my eyes are closed and I'm kind of giving you information and I'm connected to Source the whole time, you know when I'm connected, right? That's a source of channeling. So conscious channeling to me is when you go and come back and you go and you're back and forth. If you look at the work and teachings of Abraham, Esther, and Jerry Hicks, she channels. She's up on stage the whole entire time channeling Abraham. The movie Ghost, right? Whoopi Goldberg, she was channeling. I worked with somebody years ago. My first reading person was a channeler, and she took on a different voice. That's another way of receiving information. And what does channeling mean? You're the conduit. You're kind of giving yourself up to and getting information from, and they're bringing it through you. Okay? And you probably already noticed, too, that you could be more than one, right? So I am a channeler and a medium, right? So don't feel like you're one, you can't be the other. Let's keep going. I'm sure you've already uncovered that. Medium. Medium is the person between, right, in the middle. People who have that gift, my mentor always said to me, everyone's intuitive, but not everybody is a medium. And we could have many conversations about good mediums and bad mediums out there. People who take advantage of that, people who, ambulance chasers, right? I think it's all important work, by the way, but the one that brings me the most joy and the one I feel like most service to people is this work, because typically we're bringing spirit through from the other side and the person in front of me is grieving, right? So mediumship is that. So if you receive those numbers, that's some examples of mediumship. And then the last one that we have that we're going to cover today is the idea of a shaman. And I love the shaman energy because I truly do think of healers, women who run with wolves. It's got that kind of energy. It's connected to source, connected to earth, Reiki, healing, beats, music. When you think of the word shaman, it's one of the oldest healers out there, right? They used to soul travel. They're very advanced. They're very connected to source. They can be in many places at a time, right? I think they have issues with grounding and being balanced. That's just my view. Let me know if you feel that way too. So the shaman-like energy, if you got shaman, that should give you an example. So I'll put some references in the link below if you have any questions or aspects of this that you'd like to add to. Please share below. Today I'm just giving you a taste and a touch and giving you a sense of what you are. And lastly, we're going to end with giving you a brief description of how you receive information. Okay, so I've done lots of videos talking about it, right? Hearing, seeing, feeling. Today, let's just go over those and we'll end that way. And I'll let you know that behind this video, my 10th video, will be the do's and don'ts of doing all this work. So stay watching. That's coming up next in production. Okay. So looking at the way we receive information, you hear it, clairaudient, you see it, clairvoyant, you feel it, clairsentient, okay? And then the last one is claircognitive, which is the knowing. So all of them are absolutely ways in which information comes through. And as I referenced in other videos, the one that's mostly the more predominant one that comes through and flows easily is most likely the one that you are and have the most. But here, I will say it again, and I will say it and say it until this whole playlist is done. You can develop all of them. So, if you hear, see, feel, know, I just want you to end with one little conversation around the energy of knowing. And for those people who know, I want to say that I think the knowers out there are the hardest. I think they're the most advanced way of receiving information, but I also think it's the most challenging because after all, how do you know, right? When I see something, when I hear something, when I feel something, I have a physical seeing, feeling, hearing response to it. So it's almost like for myself, I have proof because I heard that. When you just do something or when you're being told something from higher self and it's just that gut feeling of knowing and you have to trust it, it can be a little scary, right? Because you're looking for proof of why. And I guess that's my biggest challenge for those who you know, and you know who you are. Of course you know who you are. You're a knower. Tag me, tell me below if you're someone who thinks you know. You will agree with that statement that the hardest thing to do and to figure out is why you know. And that's where the trust comes in all this work. This is Jeannie Lynch, wrapping it up, giving you a touch and a taste of all the different language that it is when we're talking about what it is to be intuitive. Hopefully you're enjoying this series. Thanks again. Have a good day. Hey, welcome back to my channel, Jeannie Lynch. Excuse the backdrop. I'm in the middle of a renovation. So excited today. Let's get right into it. We're talking about intuition as we do so often on my channel. And one of the number one questions that I get asked when I'm teaching people how to connect with their own intuition is the trust aspect. And this is a difficult thing. So I thought today I would just do a short video about highlighting the 3 things you need to know about the trust factor for doing readings for others. And it's not going to be what you expect too. So I'm going to walk you through the who, what, where, when, and how to do that. And then I will tell you right out of the gate, the wackier the information, the more divine it is. What does that mean? You know what you got to do. You got to stay listening. It's coming up next. So I want to start with where it should start. And it should start with just uncovering and learning absolutely everything that you can
about energy. I mean, remember, we are called energy healers, we're called energy readers. There's a reason that you need to know energy. And so, your first question is, well, where do I start learning about energy? First off, you better be connected to your own. You better know when you feel good and when you feel off, or when you feel balanced, or when you feel sick. All right. Knowing your body is probably one of the first best ways to get connected. You cannot read for others unless you understand how energy comes into you. And there's so many videos that talk about the way in which we receive information. That's not this video. That's this video. Okay. Today, we're talking about where to start with understanding energy. And I will share with you when I first started and I was interested, I got a deck of cards. Um, my daughter had passed away. I wanted to know where she was. I was trying to debunk or go beyond my Catholic beliefs and understanding the other side and heaven and higher vibration. And I started with the chakras. I started with meditation. I started with a lot of silence. I started with a lot of crying, right? We call it the dark night of the soul, right? Usually there's some experience that causes this awakening, and then our awakening causes the need for more discovery and so on. But today, I want to give you the things that you could start with. Absolutely, the chakra system, astrology, understanding enneagrams, understanding even Myers Briggs is another form of reading energy. These are all profiling, but they're also describing your energy and how you might see and perceive things based on your birth date, based on your chakras, based on your heart being opened or closed, right? You need to know how these things feel and also the connection to the language that is in all of it. So, see the books behind me? So many different categories. I've even got them labeled feng shui, human design, right? I Chi, right? There's so many different energy ways. And I think all of them are important as you navigate. You will find that the more you understand about all the different aspects of energy and all the different ways people experience them through different techniques and modalities, the easier your next step will be, which is really honing down and developing your library. So that is number one. Let's move on to number two. Number two is truly creating your own intuitive library. And I have so many videos on my channel that go into great details about this. But because today I've got your ear, I want you to know that things will show up for you. The more sessions you do, the more times you work with this energy, the easier it will be to kind of see the energy in a quicker way. So let me give you three examples that will make sense. Shiny pennies. Doesn't mean anything to you, but to me, when I see a shiny penny in a reading, it means that someone is looking too close at a situation. I won't go into why I see that because it's just my stamp of what that shiny penny means to me because of my experience in my childhood or my past or and so on. So that's just an example. The other example I want to give to you today for seeing things is Leo energy, and that's through astrology, right? When I really understood astrology, I started to understand that the Leo energy is all about the heart. It's all about giving. And people with Leo issues typically have bad boundaries, right? So if I'm working with somebody who has a bad boundary or is just a people pleaser, it shows up. The big Leo shows up in my sessions, and I can go right to that energy and know exactly what's coming in. And then the last example I'll give in my intuitive library is if I'm working and doing a relationship reading and somebody shows up who is somebody who can't end one relationship without starting another, I see a monkey swinging from limb to limb. And that is the way that the library stamps in that it is that energy. So these are called intuitive libraries. And please don't think it's words. It could be something I've seen, it could also be situations from the past, some story that had the same like frequency of the story or the scenario that the person's giving me,
or they're just showing up and they're sitting there. And I can ask for guidance and ask questions from source. And this story will pop into my head and it has to do with that energy. And I might go into great detail about grief, depending on what I'm seeing or feeling. So that's reading energy. And it is just that simple. Okay. So don't complicate this. Okay. It is just that simple. So, how do you keep track of this? You know what I'm going to say. You have to write it down, commit it to memory, and even say to your guides, wow, when I see this energy, I'll see it in the form of a shiny penny. And in a sense, stamp that and put it in your library, in your intuitive mind to keep it organized for yourself. And guess what? It might change because energy changes, right? As you develop your craft, your library will expand, new words will come in, new situations. The more you do, the easier it gets. Okay. And then the last point I want to make, which is really how I believe this whole video is about this last point, and it is the wackier it seems, the more crazy it seems as far as, I'm in a physical body and I've never seen it that way, or I'm not even sure where this word means. I'm not even sure that can happen because that doesn't make sense to my logical brain. If it feels like that energy, guess what? You're totally connected, tapped in, and you are getting divine information. Trust that more than anything. That's how I know it's amazing. Okay. So, and you will get stuff that makes sense and you will get a lot more that doesn't make sense. So, I'm going to share three little examples of that the answers came through years later. At the time I received the information, I had no idea what was going on, but I think it will make my point. We'll call this the bonus round coming up next. Okay. So, for my bonus round, I have three words for you: androgynist, I have forerunners, and I have walk ons. What the hell is this? Okay. Yeah, this is my point about receiving information that I have no idea what it is. And then going to look it up, going to dive in a little bit deeper, and then learning and connecting way after the reading. Oh, little side tip here, little sidebar. Record your sessions if you're starting to. I just shared this with somebody the other day. If you're starting to do readings, record them for yourself. Of course, ask permission, but just listen back to them. You will learn so much about the way you receive information. If you're truly channeling, you're channeling. You don't even know what's going on. If you listen back to it, you'll hear just how incredible the information was. You'll also start to differentiate when you're in your body and when you're out, when you're channeling, or when you're actually, I call it Jeannie mode or in reading mode, right? There does seem to be two sides to when you're there and when you're here, and when you're connected and when you're not. And you're just giving the information. And I know there's tons of different conversations we could get into with that. It's a whole other video. So let's keep going. So those three words, I want to share three quick stories and then you're good for the day. It'll just illustrate my point. The word androgynist. I heard this word in a reading once and I purposely did not say it to the sitter because I thought it would be too jarring. This person was too young to kind of hear the word, and I wasn't even really sure the dictionary definition, and I didn't want to freak out this person. So in my session, I kind of started going there, and then I paused and then kept going and said, it's really more just about your energy and not being tied to any one aspect of male or female. That's kind of how I gave it to this person. Well, the person looked back at me and said, well, what's this word androgynist? Now, I purposely knew I didn't say it because I went out of my way not to. And this person heard it. So, how, right? We started to argue that I said it or didn't say it. He said I said it. I said I didn't. I purposely didn't say it. We paused the video real quick. We paused the recording, excuse me, went back. Sure enough, proof. I never said it, but he heard it. So that's all divine, right?
all divine. He had never heard the word either, but the point I'm trying to make is the information was coming through. It was for both of us, and they were going to make sure we both heard it. Let's move on. The next word was forerunning. I heard this word 20 years ago when I first started, and it was somebody who was in front of me that was from the future. Never didn't understand it. The word showed up so clear, did my best to explain it the way it was showing up. I've since got a better way to explain it, but when I was first starting, and then 10 years ago, I was down in Florida. I got turned on to Dolores Cannon's work, and clear as a bell, in one of her YouTube videos, she talked about forerunning, explained the whole thing to me, gave an example of what a forerunner is. And I had a flashback to this person, pulled off the side of the road, called this client, still had the phone number, and said, "Oh my God, do you remember years ago when I said this to you? I just finally received more information on it." So, again, the wackier, the crazier, the better the information, the more connected to divine it is. And then the last example I want to leave you with and make my point is my mentor. Once, when I was witnessing my mentor work, I heard this word walk on. And it was just, she had to explain it to me. It was two contracts, one soul, meaning my body is contracted to two different souls. So I leave at one aspect of my life and a new contract steps in. Okay. This was something I'd never seen or heard. Well, the door was open for me to understand the energy of it. So years later, probably 8 years later, someone was sitting for me, and in that session, a walk on showed up, and that had absolutely happened to this person. Okay, wrapping this all up today. The point of today's video is talking about trust. We're talking about how do you know it's divine, and we're talking about where to start. And hopefully, you've heard one thing: all of this has to happen just from doing it. You can read all the books you want. You can get as many certificates as to fill your walls. Okay. You can do whatever you need to do. All of it is important, but the most important thing that you can do to become the best reader that you can be is to actually work with people, have really good boundaries, and learn and develop your craft. But it is on you, and no one can teach you how to do that, including me, unless you do it for yourself first. That is my video. This is Jeannie, clicking out. Have a great day. See you next video.